You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome, and you are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's 3/2/21. Well, what's your relationship with money? Are your attitudes towards money holding you back? Well, the person you're about to hear from is one part CPA, one part financial advisor, and one part therapist. His name is Bob Wheeler. The book is The Money Nerve. You find him at themoneynerve.com. Bob, welcome to the show. So what about this money nerve? I haven't seen it on any medical charts or in any, I haven't seen it in any medical textbooks either.
It's not there yet. We're just finding it. That money nerve, we all have it. We either get super excited when we win the lottery or we get super depressed when our bank gets overdrafted.
Yeah.
Or we might just be used to it. I don't know.
So you tell a story here. You're taking somebody out to dinner. You tried 2 credit cards. They were declined. The person paid for dinner, and then you wrote them a check and that bounced. What was going on in your life?
Well, that was me fresh out of college, living the dream. I think we've all had our moments where we had a lot more month than money. And that seemed to be habitual for me fresh out of college, even though I had a college degree. But they give you all these credit cards and it's free money when you don't really know that stuff. Even though I had taken all the accounting courses, I knew the theory behind it, but not necessarily how to actually practically use that in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess we were all in that position at one time or another. So obviously you figured something out because you're not doing it that way anymore.
I am not. Yeah, that's what happened was after I got my CPA license, and a couple things happened. One, there were people that had lesser titles than I did that seemed to be doing much better financially than I was, even though I had the title and theoretically the money. And also working with my own clients, they would do things that seemed to be in direct opposition of what seemed like really sound practical advice. And so I started digging a little bit deeper, and a lot of my tax appointments turned into therapy sessions. And so I realized, and it seems like it's obvious, but many of us are working from an emotional aspect when we're making financial decisions.
Yeah. And then we're human beings, we're emotional beings. Some say women more emotional than men. So how do you separate your emotions when you're involved in the investing process? And what is the most deadly emotion that you encounter in that process?
Well, it's when it comes to investing, all that stuff, a lot of people do invest emotionally. That sounds like a great stock, or everybody else is doing it. Let me jump in. And so you've got to be able to, especially when you're investing, you've got to be able to not be emotional and not freak out when the market's changing and thinking that you're missing out or that you're getting left behind. And I think the biggest emotion that I see when it comes to money is fear. It's either fear of being too successful. It's fear of losing all your money. It's fear of people judging you for being successful or being a failure. And a lot of these voices are in our own head. And, they may have come from our parents. They may have come from our culture or how we were socialized. But ultimately, we take on those voices and then use them to drive our decision making.
And all right. So it goes back to a lot of old behaviors, old incorrect beliefs about money, like people thinking, I'm never going to have enough. And surprise, surprise, they never have enough. But
that's right.
Identifying that as one thing and then actually doing something about it is another, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not always fun to go back and look at some of the beliefs that we've picked up that aren't serving us. But until we get conscious of them, we're going to keep unconsciously acting out the same belief system until we can be aware, oh, this is where I like to self-sabotage financially.
So what is the most common forms of financial self-sabotage?
For a lot of people, it's not actually going for it. I've had clients that have turned down jobs because they found out they were going to have to speak in front of the managers. Or I've had women clients who didn't want to take on a higher paying job because it would be a better paying job than their husband. And so a lot of it's just, I don't want to move forward because somebody's going to get mad at me, or I probably don't deserve it. They're going to find out I'm a fake.
So the imposter syndrome, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what's the approach to getting through them? How do you do it?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Silver One Resources is an exploration and development company backed by strategic investors Eric Sprott and SSR Mining. At Silver One's Candelaria Mine project in Nevada, there is already a historic resource estimated at 127 million ounces of silver, which Silver One is developing and advancing. The company's Phoenix Silver project, located within the Arizona Silver Belt, is an early-stage exploration project on which native silver vein fragments have been discovered near surface. One grab sample assayed an astounding 14,688 ounces per ton. Yes, that's right, ounces, not grams. Silver One has tremendous exploration potential, is extremely leveraged to the price of silver, and is cashed up and poised to increase shareholder value. Silver One trades in New York under the ticker SLVRF and in Toronto under the ticker SVE. To learn more, go to silverone.com. That's silverone.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Well, so it requires some work. It's not always comfortable. It requires going back and looking at what am I saying out loud? Some people will say, "Oh, I'm broke. I need the newest cell phone. I need this. I need that. I don't have any money." Instead of recognizing, I might be cash flow, inadequate at the moment. I would love to have a new phone, but I don't necessarily have to have a new phone. It's so starting to catch those words that we use, starting to listen to the undervoice, starting to, when something happens financially, I'll do workshops, give everybody a lottery ticket. And a lot of people go, "Yeah, I never win," or "Who cares?" And they already have a story even before they get there. And so once we can start to identify what those stories are, we can then make a choice. Do I want to keep going down that path, or do I want to do something different?
All right. So it's identify, and then do you figure out where these negative thoughts came from in the first place? Is that important, or
Absolutely.
Does that help you stop them?
It does. It helps you to start to realize a lot of decisions we make as adults stem from when we're 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're taking in all this information and we're making assumptions and saying, okay, this is the truth. So if our parents told us we were bad at math, or you don't need to do that because you're a creative type, or whatever gets laid on us, we start to take that on later on. So it is really important to start to realize, oh, my parents never talked about money. I never talk about money because it means it's going to be a fight or it's improper. Most of us don't grow up with our folks consciously telling us how to work with money. They'll either tell us to not talk about it, or, money's dirty, or they're just not giving us the information. The root of all evil.
Yes. Yeah. How many times have we heard that one, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are a lot of people that is like, "Oh my God, I can't have any money because it's evil. It's evil." Money's actually awesome.
Yeah. It's the love of money.
That's
not
right.
Money itself, right?
That is correct. That is correct.
All right. So 3 things you tell every one of your clients to do.
Well, I tell them to listen to what they're saying. I tell them to go back and look at their history. And then I ask them to actually list out what are their life goals? Like, what do you want to accomplish in your lifetime? And then I ask them, is your spending and current financial habits in alignment with what you say you want? And if it's not, why do you, as you're spending your money, ask yourself, well, do I want to just spend in the moment, or do I want to actually work towards what I say I want to be my life goal?
So that's where you really have to take a good hard look at what it is you're doing and what you've been doing. So, right, a lot of this is deferring your desires now for a bigger goal in the future, isn't it?
Absolutely. We in this culture, we don't really cultivate delayed gratification. It's you got to have it now, you deserve it now, you work for it, pay for it later. Who knows what tomorrow brings? And so we get caught up in the hype and social media, and we don't practice. Many of us don't practice delayed gratification, waiting for a better payoff down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Could not agree with you more. Hey, people want to find out more about you and learn more about this topic. How do we get you?
So you can find me at themoneynerve.com, and that's NERVE, nerve, not nerd. I'm a money nerd, but the Money Nerve is where you're going to find, we have resources, we have tools, we have an online course, we have the book, and we have a lot of articles and things for people to just get on track financially and start to have a healthier relationship with their money.
All right. And one other question here, like your biggest success story with a client, just tell us. You don't have to identify them, but we'd like to hear it.
Well, one of my clients is an entertainment company, and there were many times where things were very, very tight, and we often had what we called our death march as the company was going to fail. Uh-huh. And we were able to turn things around. And as we started building the business, we kept stocking money away for a rainy day. And so putting away 10%, 15%, we were putting away 10%. Money was coming in. And like when the pandemic came, we had a couple $1 million in the bank because this client really focused on for the future instead of, well, we've got all this money now, let's just spend it. So it was very conscious effort to keep putting away the money so that if it got rough times, money would be there to take them through. And that's exactly what happened. So it's really cool to see that.
That's a really nice success story that we like to hear about. And all right, well, that's really interesting. And it's a perfect example of why you need to find out more about the Money Nerve, and you find it at themoneynerve.com. And send us any questions you have for Bob. We'll forward them off to him. The email address is kl@kerrylutz.com. And make sure you go to our website, financialsurvivalnetwork.com, and sign up for our newsletter. And Bob, been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And hope your listeners all have a great financial relationship.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.